guys and girls. Welcome back again. Now since I left you the last one, I've been pretty busy, and to be quite honest, I hadn't really done a sort of a lot of interim filming because I've been kind of distracted with one thing and another. But on this stage I'm going to show you how far we've got, and we've got quite a long way now, and I've done quite a lot of work on the boat, so it looks a little bit different now. But what I was hoping to show you this time was what I'd done with the periscopes, because as I said before, we were going to have some of these working periscopes, and it took me a while to actually work out what to do and how to do it, because I've got no plans for this, and it's all out of my head. And but I've come up with something quite interesting, and it actually works now. So without further ado, let's show you what I've created. And what I've done is I've set this up on the bench here to show you what we've got. Right, we've got a number of tubes here which I've created, which are going inside the conning tower, and they're all tubes within tubes, but they all do a reasonably specific job. So if we start off at the back end, this is just simply a communications aerial which will go up and down here, and next to it we've got the snort, which is actually connected to the snort tube, which is here, and that's going to go inside one of the kind of lunchbox things. So when the air takes out to fill the ballast tank, it's got to get its air from somewhere. So this is the snort, so when you're just about surface and this comes up, air can be drawn in through there. So that's that. And then something really clever here that I said to you before, and just adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. This one here is actually a camera. It's a tiny little drone camera which I've got, which has got the transmitter and the aerial all inside this little unit here, and I put it inside here and sealed it up. And it's got a little lens on the front of this as well. At the moment it's covered up, you can see that, and that's, once that's above the water like that, you'll be able to get pictures just above the water like a real periscope, and it works. I've tested it. It's quite amazing because there's a kind of wide angle lens on this, so it gives you quite a good scope, and it's amazing it actually works inside this tube. So that's really cool, I think. It took a bit of time to do that. And on the end here we have the radar, and that radar will come up, and I'll see a little bit come up here. And what happens with this is there's a very tiny geared motor inside this tube, which you can buy off the internet. I think I got it from somewhere like Techno Box or a robot shop, something like that. I think you can probably even get it from China. But anyway, I think it's about a 250 reduction, depending on what voltage you use. And that spins this area. This spins this radar, which I had to make. And on the end of this, we've got a little loop thing here. Now, what that does very cleverly is when this radar comes up, there's a little bit of wire here, which opens a hatchway on the conning tower. And as this comes up, your little captain, and I'll show you that. That's this little guy here who sits on the end here with our magnet. He sits on there. So when this comes up, when the radar comes up, he comes through the conning tower hatch. The hatch opens up because there's a little bit of wire that opens up the hatch, and he sticks his head through the hatchway. And again, it took me a little while to get it to work. It's quite clever, and it does actually work quite well. Now you're asking yourself, probably, how does this all work and all the rest of it? Well, they're all going to be controlled with these, which are snakes, which the aircraft guys will know all about. And what I'm going to do is connect these mechanically to a rack, which is going to be controlled inside one of the lunch boxes on a ratchet rack. And there we go. This little tooth rack, what I'm going to do is put it on the sail winch, and that will go backwards and forwards like that, and consequently push these snakes up and down. I'm going to have two servos in there, so we've got two, and they operate kind of like this, and you can see this one work like that, fairly easy. And of course the great thing about these snakes is you can bend them kind of to any shape you like, really, and they work. They're waterproof because they're some are nylon. So that goes up and down for that one. and then we've got the snort coming up there, and the camera. There's the camera. The only thing is we're kind of limited to about 100 mil or something like that, but it looks okay. It's kind of good enough, I think, and it looks pretty impressive, I think, when I've tested it and all the rest of it. And then the one on the end is this guy on the end that comes up like that, and here, as you see, he comes up through the hatchway. And what we'll do is we'll put it together and we'll show you. At the moment I'm still in a position where I'm not able to get it fixed up, because I'll show you where we are with the rest of the hull. So that's kind of that. And also what I've done is I've put some lights on, some LEDs, and I've connected those up to the motor, and I'm running this whole shebang here on 5 volts. That's mainly because the camera runs on 5 volts, you see. So I've derated this. This motor runs on 5 volts quite easily. It's just slower, but it's ideal. It's okay. And these LEDs run on 5 volts. It's just a little resistor in there to run those, and they're also good as well. So, and that is all connected to a connector here, which I've connected up, which is one of these waterproof connectors, which I've used on all my other previous boats. And then I'll just connect that up to the main box and put a voltage reducer on there, so it only produces 5 volts. Also, there is a little float switch in here. I'm not sure where you can see. It's just down here. This one here, that there, as you can see. Now, what happens is when that goes up, when the water comes up, that will then turn on and off the radar, so that goes around and round, and also turns off the navigation lights, which are on the conning tower. So that's it. So this looks a bit complicated, I know, but it's just got to go inside the conning tower, and I'll show you what we've done with the conning tower. It's come a long way now. We've kind of added a little bit of paint to it. That's where we are at the moment, as you can see. Now the other thing is, what I've done with this is, believe it or not, I did say I wasn't going to do this, but I've made these are going to be movable, and there's another snake here which controls these in here, and that will move them up and down, and they will be on their own leveler, so she doesn't do a lot of sort of porpoising. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So as we can see, there are the holes for the periscopes, and at the end here you can see there's a little hatchway that I've created, and that little hatchway opens, and that allows the little man to come out of there, and that will open and close as that radar goes up and down. Now we've got the nav lights here. They're covered up at the moment because of the spraying, and as you can see the texture, and we finished the whole of the rear section as well. And I've also put on the sonar boom, and I've got a light on the end of the sonar boom. Now that's controlled via another little float switch is in there, and that will come on when the boat goes underwater, so I can see it underwater. And we're just doing some stuff at the rear at the moment. We've just started to paint the rear sections of this at the moment, getting its colour, because it's quite difficult. And we painted the inside, and you can see that we've got the battery position here, because I'm going to have an external battery. I did wonder about that at the moment, but there we go, that's that. But as I say, I'm just beginning to paint the internal, so it looks kind of nice. And also, probably didn't show you this beforehand. As I said beforehand that we were going to have some positions that were going to come up to allow the air to escape, and that's what we've got here. So we've got these little pop-up things here, and these are actually brass bolts which have been machined down flat, so they can just poke out of the top here, and they will allow the air, that will come up and allow the air to come up, and then they look kind of neat, that they're kind of flush with the thing. And underneath you'll be able to see there's a, I don't know whether you can see that there, there's the plastic bolt header controls, and I can adjust it if I want to give it more, but it kind of looks nice. I like the way that instead of having holes drilled in the top, I wanted to keep it kind of all kind of smooth and stealth like. Okay, yeah, so that's where we are at the moment. So we're quite a way ahead at the moment, and just to well, I found out probably doing a bit more research. The fact is that this boat, the A26 Viking class, is not going to be built now because apparently Glockums, who make it in Sweden, were offering this to the Danish, and apparently this is what this was designed for. And apparently they've decided they're not gonna go ahead it and stay pretty neutral or something like that. I don't know. Anyway. So there's good and bad about that. The good thing is I've got a bit of a free rein, really. I can sort of, although I've got the general picture of it, I can sort of be a little bit more expansive for what I do. And on the bad side is that I don't have any other precise details other than what I've got. But hey, that doesn't matter really. So what we're doing is we're kind of pushing the boundaries here a bit. You don't want to copy other people. You want to kind of innovate rather than imitate, as they say. And you're not going to get anywhere if you don't do some different things. Just copying things from other people's stuff and doing that as kind of okay, but you want something different, exciting, like these periscopes. I don't know, I haven't got any plans for them, but I guess they're going to work. So once I've done it, I don't know whether I've showed you these before, but these are the boxes which we're going to be putting in the equipment in. A little bit expensive, 25 quid I think each one of these, but they are good because there's putting stuff in here, shut it up, and they're completely watertight and you can see through it. So all I got to do is drill some holes in there, put the servos in, that sort of stuff, and that will be, once I get these periscopes set in, and that's okay, these are going to come through the boat, and the servos are going to be mounted in these boxes along with all the other gears, and the rack's going to go backwards and forwards. That's the way I plan it. But as I say, I don't have a drawing of it, mate, so we just have to go along and see how we are. So that's what will happen in the next sort of bit. Hopefully I will have built all this, and I can show you what it looks like. But it's difficult to do until I've kind of planned it out. But that's going to be the next bit. Hopefully I would have finished this hull by then, sorry, and we can get on with putting all the electrics and the motor in, because I'm trying to source a decent motor at the moment. I'm not quite sure whether we're going to have a brushless or a brushed motor. I found a brushed motor that's quite nice. I think they use it in tugs. I could use that, or I could go down the line around a brushless, which is kind of big, a bit more expensive with the speed controller, but I don't know yet. So I need it to run obviously really slow, or the ability to run really slow, otherwise it just won't, it'll just be too quick, I mean, you can take it a different way if you like. If you didn't want to build this particular one, you wanted to build maybe the Gotland, which is very, very similar, you wouldn't have to do all the cut away the sections and stuff like that, because I've had to cut away the deck a little bit for the missile deck and that sort of stuff on that, but you don't need to do that if you didn't want to. Oh, I remember, I was going to tell you that the fins on the conning tower, I did say that I wasn't going to do that and they were going to be set, but looking at the boat and I'm thinking it's almost nearly 1.5 meters between the conning tower and the stern, and when those X fins work, what will happen is the boat will tend to do a bit of this, a bit more porpoising, and I thought, well, it'd be a good idea if I had those fins on a conning tower and they'd be working but on a level device, so they're going to have their own level device themselves and work independently of everything else. So it should be good, should work. And what I've done is I've put another one of these snakes in here on the end of this one, and that'll control the control those fins on the conning tower. And I'll say there'll be a servo and a level device working independently of all the rest of them. So you won't have to touch that. So okay, so that's kind of it. We'll take a bit of a break and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when we get this when we get these periscopes in. Okay.